Hey everybody. So today I wanted to go over uh, just two lenses, and there's videos on YouTube for these two lenses, but I really wanted to use it in studio and just show you what the one lens can do. The 28 I've had forever. This is the 28 Ultron 2 by Voigtlander, and then this is the 35, which is actually smaller, I believe. Pretty much the same size, but it's a little smaller than the 35 or the 28. And this little lens, I'm gonna try to make this go in focus because I'm horrible at this stuff. But this little lens is so darn good. Both are actually, the Ultron, the 28 and the 35. They're just spectacular lenses. So well put together. It's brass, black painted brass. They're just beautiful lenses. They have the focus tabs on them. I'm a big advocate of focus tabs, so that's why I love them so much. But I started off with the 50 today really shortly because I have to, because I really love that lens, but the Summilux. But these lenses are absolutely wonderful. Now, I picked both of these up used for Jesus, I think this one was 600, this was 500, or give or take a few dollars either way, but they are just that good. I don't know why I shot this with the hood. I had the hood on this from the 28, so I figured I'll try it on this, and I just left it on there. I'm not big on hoods. Even when I'm outside, it just doesn't, the coatings on these are so good now, it's kind of hard to make them flare, but it's there if you need it, and it looks nice if you like that kind of thing. But I just like the small size and without the hood and not have to worry about it. But anyway, here's a quick shoot and some photos from this. It is a sharp lens. It is just a beautiful lens, and it is small. At times I'm like wishing it was a little bit bigger, but with the focus tab on it, it just doesn't matter. It just works. So anyway, here's a quick shoot with the Voigtlander Ultron 35mm version 2 or type 2. Enjoy the shoot. But if you're looking for a 35 and don't want to spend the Leica 35 and an f2, this is absolutely spectacular. Now, you know how much I like the Apo. The Apo is sharper than anything, and it's really extremely well corrected. This is, I would say, pretty close to being as sharp. It's not as well corrected, but I never run into those situations anyway. I've never, run into a situation with a 35 or the 28 where I had to go, oh God, look at the chromatic aberrations, because I just don't shoot like that. So I'll shut up now and get on with the shoot. Hopefully I'm not standing in front of the camera all the time because I remember just being too far over. But anyway, thanks for watching as always. If you have any questions about this lens or the 28, please don't hesitate to ask. But I can say, without question, they're spectacular, and they're worth every single dime. So I'm going to start this shoot with the 50 Summilux, just for a baseline, which the baseline is more for me than you, because this is YouTube and the compression is not going to help see the differences between these two lenses. Kind of you have to take my word for it, which, always cracks me up, but, there's nothing you could do. And, enjoy the shoot. That's all I'm going to say. And we're going to do both 50 Summilux for a first couple here, and then we'll immediately switch over to the Voigtlander 35mm Ultron Type 2 vintage line. These are such long names. Anyway, the lights, I'm using, the one umbrella. This is a silver umbrella with a diffuser over it, and I have the little speed light in the back. I love speed lights even in the studio because they're small, easy to move around, no cords. It makes it so easy. I do have the B1X up front, obviously, which is battery powered, but I like easy, and the fact that you can still use speed lights in the studio like this for backlights and accent lights, it's great. Now it's a little harsh, the speed light in the back. I have the grid over it, but it's still a little harsh, so I'm going to switch over to the softbox, that Clic Octa. Just a small softbox with a grid on it.
is fabulous. And remember, the angler is the same thing. So if you're using, if you want less expensive, or if you're using V1 or so forth, you can get the angler box with the grid, and it's just as good, does the same exact job. A speed light, an angler softbox, and you're set to go. And the angler comes in 2 sizes as well. I just want to let you know, because that's really important. You have the smaller size, like the one I'm using, and then you have the larger size as well. And they're not expensive for what they are. But I recommend getting the grids with them. And I'll leave the link in the description here of what I'm using. So now I switched over to the Voigtlander 35, and for the rest of the shoot, I'm using that. And the really surprising thing is about this lens isn't the sharpness at f2, but it's the resolution. It really resolves well on a 60 megapixel sensor. So if you're using 24 or 33 or whatever you use, this lens is spectacular. The other thing is, this is the easiest M lens I've ever focused. It just nails focus every single time. It's just so easy to grab focus. Now, I dropped down to like 2.8 to 3.2. I have the light set a little lower, just to make it a little easier to get focus and to get more depth, because I don't want that shallow depth of field for these. And at times I went to f4 and 5.6, but not many times, just when the light's a little closer and so forth. But the quality of this lens is really spectacular. Like, it's just so good for the size of this lens. It's absolutely astonishing how good it is. And I said, at times it's almost too small. And if it didn't have that focus tab on it, it would definitely be too small, because it is a tiny lens. And I didn't you think it would be bigger than the 28, mental thing. But it's actually smaller than the 28. And the 28 I use for events all the time. I love that for events because I can get everything in. That's also the Ultron 2 vintage line, Type 2. I gotta get these names right. That fan, I've shown in another, I'm going to leave that link as well. I love this fan. It just works every time in the studio with so little effort. And now I'm having an assistant hold it, and it does a great job, instead of having this giant fan or leaf blower as many of us have used before. But anyway, but I will leave that in the description below as well. It was an overall fun shoot. So it was twofold. It was her birthday shoot, and she wanted to cross in Halloween with it. So we did, several different looks. And this is the final look with the Halloween look. And then we have, I think we went back to birthday, but anyway, you can just see the quality of this lens. If you were thinking about this lens or considering it, I know it's been out for a while, but the videos I've seen online were the original Ultron 35, and this Type 2 with that focus tab is so good. I don't know if the optics have changed. So if they haven't changed and you don't mind they have a little nub on the first one. But I got to tell you, with this size, the focus tab really helps. It does a lot of good for focusing and the ease of use of this lens. Anyway, thanks for watching as always. If you have any questions, leave them below. And I really appreciate everyone watching and leaving comments. Thank you as always.